Do you want to become a real media magnet? Well, if so, you need to know how to get the media's attention. You need to know what they want and how to give it to them. Today I'm talking to award-winning media and television producer Paula Rizzo all about her media secrets, her video strategy, and to gain and keep the media's attention. As always, before we get started, make sure you hit the bell and you subscribe to our channel so you never miss a thing. Welcome to Powerhouse Business on YouTube. I'm your host, Carolin Soldo. I'm a business owner, business scaling master, and mom of 2 boys. I love thinking big, pushing boundaries, and doing things differently. Most of all, I'm all about achieving massive growth with ease and helping you scale your business by living the life you love. Let's go. Being in the media, being on video, and being visible has been extremely important for my business over the years, and it's important for your business too, but it's not always easy. There are the things that go on in our mind in terms of our confidence and how we're showing up and what we should be saying and the message and so much, but there's also really understanding the media, the producers, the editors, the people behind the camera who are looking for very specific things. So if you want to gain the media's attention and your goal is to increase your publicity, to increase your awareness out there, you need to really know the secrets and how those people actually think so you can give them what they want. Paula Rizzo is an Emmy award-winning television producer, media trainer, and best-selling author, and Paula will fill us in on how to crack the media code and craft the pitch that gets your attention. Welcome, Paula. Paula, thanks so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. I want to learn a little bit more about you before we get started. So share with us what your background is. There's a lot of things that you've done in the past, some really incredible things, and then you have obviously, your business and everything now. So yeah, fill us in on your background.
Well, I've spent my career as a television producer. I'm an Emmy award-winning TV producer, and I've worked both in local and national news in New York City. And I've been able to, interview people who are super famous, like Deepak Chopra and, Jillian Michaels, and do a lot of health and wellness content throughout my career. And now I work for myself. Now I'm an entrepreneur. And I do media training, media coaching, help people to feel more comfortable on video. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, everybody's on video. Yes. So it's not just if you're going to be in the media. And, that's been very, very clear. So I work with people to help them produce their own videos or, be able to talk to the media in a way that really is purposeful and, gets your message across in a good way. And I'm also an author. I have 2 books about productivity, listful thinking and listful living. So I practice what I preach with the media. I'm out there a lot, doing a lot of media interviews and producing my own videos and things like that. And that's the story.
Yeah, you bring so much expertise. And what I like about you is that you have sort of a comprehensive way of looking at things, not just, getting the media's attention, but also creating the pitches and then all the way to how do we actually show up. Right? And how do we, show up on video? So it's covering the entire spectrum of things. And, that's what an expert is. And clearly you are. And so congratulations on your success and everything.
Thank you. It's fun, I have to say. When you love what you do, it makes it easier.
Totally. Yeah. That's what I believe in too. So the first question I wanted to ask you was really looking at what we need to know about the media. So many people, including myself, it's easy to get wrapped up in our own minds, like me and what should I say and what should I email them. It's sort of like one-sided, but the trick is really knowing what they want to see, like figuring out what the media person really wants. So can you share with us a little bit in terms of how can we think more like them and what are they really looking for?
Yes, well, alleviate some of that pressure. It's not all about you, it's all about them. So understand what a producer does every day. They're looking for stories. They're looking for great experts. They want their audience to learn something new and to, have someone who can really teach them something that they didn't know before. Yeah. You could be that person, but your pitch has to be about the audience, not about yourself. Okay, so you have to watch the show or read the newspaper or whatever, media you're looking after. look to see who are they speaking to? Who is their core demographic? And then how can you help them? How can you help that person? Not how can you help you? Not how can you, sell more books or get your name out there in a bigger way? Media doesn't work like that. It's not advertising. It's not sales. It's a very different world. So as soon as you sort of understand that kind of dynamic, that it's what they're looking for is something that's going to really be great for their audience, it makes all the difference.
Yeah. So what are their biggest problems? Right. So I always think, how can I help someone solve a problem and become a solution? So what are some of their biggest issues when they try to, get their hands on like a new talent or a great story? What do they struggle with the most?
Sure. I mean, it could be people who are just not ready, right? Maybe you are the expert, but you're not great on camera yet. This is where my work as a media trainer comes in a lot of times. There were people that I was pitched for years who, had great ideas, but were not great on camera. And it really broke my heart because I needed somebody who was good on camera. And if, I could find somebody else who was sort of saying the kind of things that you were saying, but they were better on camera, I'm going to go with that person.
Yeah.
So that happens, being able to find not only somebody who has a really great story, but also can present really well. That's always, difficult. Yeah. Also, sometimes there are people who are too salesy.
Oh,
they don't get how it works. And they come in and they're just like, I want to just talk about my book and I want to talk about this and I want to talk about that. And it's like, okay, but that's not really, as the producer, that's not what I want the segment to be about. So you want to be flexible. You want to be the person that they go to and say, hey, you know what, you pitched me this idea. Doesn't exactly work for me. Could we talk about this other piece? What do you think of that? The people who say yes, who show up and do that, are the ones who get asked back again and again.
Yeah. Well, that reminds me of a term that I learned from you. Well, I've heard it before, but I really, it came across on your website and things so clearly. And that was the media magnet. Wouldn't we all want to be that media magnet? So when you say you need to know your stuff, but you also need to be, sort of, inspiring, energetic. You need to be good on camera, right? So does that mean being a media magnet? And maybe define that for us. What does that mean in your world or for you?
Sure. It's something that, not everyone has. There's tons of experts out there, but not all of them are meant for media. And the ones that are meant for media are the ones that are out there producing their own content now. They're there. They're talking about what they know. My books are about list making and productivity. It's not that I know more about lists and productivity than anybody else. It's just that I talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
I create tons of videos. I'm always writing a blog post. I'm on social media talking about it here and there and sharing all kinds of things, That's how you get seen as an expert. And I knew from my work as a producer that if I'm not the one talking about it more than anybody else, the media isn't going to look at me as an expert. So you need to really be producing your own content first. And now people can do it from the privacy of their own homes. I mean, look at us. We're in two totally different places. We're creating this video. This was something that used to be reserved just for, big companies, so big broadcasting companies. Not anymore.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, so you need to get out there. And people ask me all the time, how can I be discovered? And so it's not that you're the secret and you need to be discovered. You have to your point, get yourself out there, have a podcast, have a book, create videos, blog posts, so that the media can actually find you, so that you're findable.
It's true. And a lot of times experts will think, oh, you know what? If I'm good enough, the media will find me. And sometimes that's true. Sometimes they will just out of nowhere find you because producers and editors and writers, they're constantly looking for new talent. They want new people. Yeah. But I won't know that you're there unless you tell me, right? Okay. And so the way that you tell me is sharing your expertise in the ways you just mentioned, sharing a pitch, telling me that you're there and that you can talk about this thing. It makes everyone's life a lot easier if you just say, hey, I'm excited about this. I want to talk about it.
Yeah. So we can obviously hire someone like you, which I highly, highly, highly recommend. However, if someone says, you know what, I want to somehow sort of do this myself first. A, is that even possible, Paula, in your mind? And then B, where would they get started with outreaching? What does that look like? Probably not calling, emailing, or something else, right? And then I have a follow-up question in terms of what we should actually say when we reach out.
In the pitch.
In the pitch, yeah. But
yeah, absolutely. You can 100% do this yourself. I suggest that people do work with PR professionals, public relations people. I have for some of my, book launches and things like that. But be very specific about when you're working with a publicist, right? What is the finite amount of time that you're going to work with them? And that's, not exactly what I do. I don't pitch people, but I teach people how to create their own pitches, how to think about, hey, what content do you have that you can then turn into a pitch that would be really interesting for, the media to dig in on. And I actually have a free course called Be a Media Magnet. So if you go to beamediamagnet.com, you'll get the free 3-part video course that will walk you through exactly what to talk about in these pitches. And it's important to, first off, start doing it yourself a little bit, to start to understand, how it works, how you would reach out to people, what you would say in emails, things like that. Depending on what market you're in, it might be easier or maybe a little bit harder. If you're in New York City, it's a little bit harder to get in right away. So I would say start, with podcasts. Start with, pitching yourself to podcasts. When you start doing that, and then you can build and build and build and build from there. You don't want to start with the Today Show. They don't know who you are. You have no clips showing yourself, being interviewed in other places. It's never going to work out that way. So you need to kind of start small and work your way up. And that's, it's important to be able to start doing that and understand that you might not hear back. And that's okay initially, because the goal is to start a conversation. It's to be a resource for the journalist. And if they pass, you might never know because they just won't hear back. They won't reply back to you. But, being able to start a conversation, to get connections in that way is important too. There's a resource called Help a Reporter Out that I find to be really, really helpful. And if you go to helpareporter.com, you can sign up. And it's something that as a journalist I used for years. So journalists will go to the website and put in information about an expert that they need. So for instance, I used this probably, now like 15 years ago to find an expert on natural medicine. I needed a natural medicine expert. The person who replied is a wonderful expert named Chris Killam. Chris and I ended up working together for a decade. We produced hundreds of hours of television together, because he was fantastic. But that's how I found him, by putting out this query and by, experts seeing it and saying, hey, I can do that. And then contacting the journalist. It's a good way to start because you already know what the journalist wants. It's not like you're pitching them cold and saying, hey, I really want you to get excited about this topic that you didn't even know existed. They already know what they need.
They've asked for it. No, that's awesome. So helpareporter.com, right? And then, yes, I love free tools, courses, and highly recommend your course. I just want to repeat that once more time. What is the URL again, Paula?
It's beamediamagnet.com.
Beamediamagnet.com. Awesome. Yeah. So there is a free tool for you. We will list that URL down below in the description, so you can find it there as well. And the resource that Paula just mentioned. So that is awesome. So we have a way to connect with reporters. You said podcasts. Start with someone who is sort of at that level that's maybe equal to yours, right? So you're in terms of maybe the visibility or how long you've been in business or, whatever. You can look at social media followers maybe, and then you'll have a better chance and build a portfolio. And then later on, maybe get on the Today Show and next year. I don't know.
Absolutely. And, media begets media. Once you get one media hit, it's a great way to use that to get another one and another one.
Awesome.
And, producers leave. They don't stay in small places for very long. So hopefully you'll have a good rapport with the person. And then when they do become, a producer for the Today Show, they'll take you with them and they'll say, hey, I thought you were really great when we talked when I worked at this little magazine or this little, newspaper or whatever it was. And now I have this other great, job at the New York Times. Could I interview you there?
Smart.
You just never know. That can absolutely happen, But it's about knowing the elements of the pitch. That's very, very important.
Let's go there. I want to ask you about the element of the pitch, and then I also want to pick your brain on video strategy. And what that means. We do so much marketing training, but we are not I'm not like you telling someone how they can become like the star, the magnetic person on video. For us, it's more the tech and, you know, the messaging, yes. But one struggle I have a lot with clients is them just being comfortable on video and not feeling awkward and then coming across kind of awkward and just, you know, really loving this experience. But the pitch, let's start there. We have so much good stuff to talk about. So what comes to mind with best practices in terms of pitching?
There are 3 elements for a really great pitch.
Okay.
So the hook, the twist, and the takeaway. So the hook is what is going to hook me in that makes this timely. What is the reason for doing it? Is it around a holiday? Is it because a new study came out talking about why, you know, sleep is bad for you? Who knows? Whatever. You know, what is the hook? What's going to be really the reason we're doing this story that the journalists will care about? The twist is, how is this different than everything else I've ever heard about the topic? So, for instance, there was a woman who I have been working with for years. Her name is Heidi Hanna. She's a stress expert. And when I worked in TV news, she pitched that stress is actually good for you. So when I got that pitch, I was like, that's very different. That's very interesting. Let's hear about that. And I have been interviewing her, you know, for 10 years now because I just like loved the way that she had that perspective to know, hey, this is a little counterintuitive. This is a little bit different. And I've interviewed her in both of my books as well. So that's it. The twist is, how is this different from everything else I've heard? And then the takeaway is, what does the audience take away? What will they do tomorrow that will change their life? Is it that they're going to drink green juice instead of eating bacon in the morning? Is it that, you know, they're going to start meditating? I don't know, whatever it is. But there has to be a takeaway. So those 3 elements, the hook, the twist, and the takeaway, are really, really critical because it's what the producer or editor is looking for. It's what they need to make it a really great segment.
Love that. So I bet people can come up with a hook. I bet they have the takeaway because they're the expert. I'm guessing the twist is the hardest part for most people.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But, you know, I'll say beware the, you know, the idea that everybody knows what you know. And that you think like, oh, you know what, that's so easy. Other people will already know that. They won't, you know. It's, you know, things that other people do not. You have an expertise in a way that, you know, cannot be, most of the time can't be duplicated. So really, you take that part out of it and think about, okay, well, what are the questions that I'm getting most often from clients? Or what are the things that I'm constantly talking about again and again that people seem to struggle with? You know, when COVID-19 hit, everybody was working from home. And I've been working from home, you know, for the past 4 years. So people were having productivity struggles. And I thought, you know what, I could help them. This is something that I write about. This is something that I do. So I started pitching, you know, the biggest mistakes that people are making when they're working at home. And that started to get some media attention. And then I started talking about it more and talking about it more. So, you know, just also being timely to know, hey, this is something that people are thinking about right now. It's a good hook.
So you either have to be really timely, where it's like, wow, this story needs to happen right now, or you have to be a little twisty, like you said, you know, get this angle going, and you don't have to be completely out of the box. What you're telling us is that, hey, don't overthink it. You already know your stuff. You know, be smart about it, but also don't overcomplicate things.
Exactly. I mean, when you look at a magazine, look at the cover of a magazine, every story is exactly the same as the one from the month before, right? It's basically the same. They just need new ways of telling those stories. So it's important to look at the medium that you're looking to pitch and say, okay, what are the stories they've done in the last 3 issues? Or what are the things that's always on their homepage? And say, okay, let me do something similar but a little bit different, because you already know they like that kind of thing.
Cool. Love that. So maybe we're leaving the best for last. I don't know. But I'm just saying that because so many of our clients do either video series, which I know you teach, and or webinars, right? So live webinars, recorded ones. And so let's imagine, maybe you even have an example from someone you worked with, or we just, you know, sort of make someone up or talk about it in general. But let's imagine we're recording a webinar or, you know, 45 to 50 minutes sort of webinar / sales training. And you have someone that is not experienced on video. maybe they've tried some video, it didn't work out, they sort of are, you know, not that outgoing in terms of their personality, and they say, Paula, I suck. What do I do? How do I get better? What are some of the things what would we recommend? What do we do with those people? Hold on, I'm gonna...
Sure.
That's my piano teacher for my son.
Oh, no worries.
I don't want to hang up on you. Stick with me, Paula.
Yeah, sure.
I need to just get her out of the Zoom or the Skype. I hope you got that message. All right, if she dials in again, we'll have to wait until he calls her from his computer. Somehow all of our Apple devices are connected.
Oh, yeah.
It's like when your cell phone rings, it rings on your computer and you don't know how to turn it off.
It's trying to be so helpful, but it's not.
It's not.
Yes.
So let me move you down here and we'll pick it up with the video.
Yes.
Okay. So Paula, let's talk about video strategy. We'll imagine that we either have someone who is doing a video series or actually recording a webinar, and they don't have much experience doing it. They're a little awkward, maybe they're afraid. What can we do quickly to help them feel better, come across in a much better way? What would you advise them to do?
I do this with all my media training clients. It's something I call the accordion method. Oh. And it's a way of thinking in headlines. So when you're interviewed, you know, in a conversation and you know, with media and things like that, you should have a short, medium, and long way that you answer any question. Mm-hmm. So that if you have just a short amount of time, you have a quick headline that you can give that's impactful. If you have more time, you can open the accordion and you give more and more and more, right? So the same thing if you're giving a presentation or if you're going to be doing a webinar or whatever it is, think about what the headline is. What's the most impactful thing that you can say in the very beginning of that you can pull people in and hook them and make them excited to stay? Mm-hmm. And also, it's something that you should be practicing. That introduction is the most important part of the entire webinar, and also the ending too, right? Because those are the two things really that people remember the most. So if you can sort of think about, okay, let me think about what the headline is here so that I can give people this really impactful idea right up front so that they know, hey, this is something that's really exciting and I want to hear more about it. And then you practice it, and you practice in front of the camera. You practice using, there's an app called Marco Polo, which I really love because it's a way to talk to your friends or your colleagues with video messaging. And it gets you really comfortable talking on camera because you're talking to your friend and you're in a conversation with somebody. And the clients that I have who started, you know, using that because they were sort of terrified of video have found that it really is helpful. It's really impactful for you to be able to have that new sort of, you know, way of communicating with the machine, with the, you know, the camera, with whatever, that you think, oh, there's a person behind there. There's somebody who needs this message. So that's what I would say for someone who's new. And also to think about it in a way that you're there to be of service. You're there to be of service to your audience. So you want to make sure that they're getting information that they can use. If you're distracting because you're stumbling and you haven't prepared and it's difficult to watch for the audience, they're not going to get the impact that you meant for them to have. So you're doing a service to them by practicing, by getting coaching, by getting help, whatever it is that you need to do. But to really be able to bring your full best self to it, it takes work. not everybody is good at the beginning, and
Yeah.
so be easy on yourself and knowing that. And even, professionals that I've worked with for years, anchors, reporters, people who live their life in front of the camera, they don't always get it right the first time. You see a wonderfully polished, beautiful piece. Do you know how many times we did it?
Yeah.
How many times we had to have them do it over and over again? Okay, you do it one more time, your eyes were closed. Could you do it one more time? You said this instead of that. Okay, one more time. So be understanding of yourself too, that it doesn't have to be perfect the first time.
So great. So there's so much goodness in what you share. So the hook, right? And notice when I actually try to do that, and I hope I get it right, but so in the beginning of our episodes, I will always say, in this video, you will learn X. Or in this video, I'm going to show you how to get rid of this big problem you have. Something that hooks them in. So that's what you mentioned. And then the accordion is a really great visual to, think of how we can expand that. And Marco Polo, practicing, right, with real people. Oh my God, when I look back to my first videos in 2012, 2013, Paula, oh my God, I'm like, can I just hide this forever and never look at it?
Off the internet, yes.
It's horrible, but there's no way around it. You just got to get into it, practice it, do it again and again. And it's not about being perfect. And you're so right with letting go of, making it about yourself.
Yes.
It's
so true.
Someone once said that to me, because I think it was a speaking trainer. I forgot his name, but I was doing some public speaking coaching, and he said, Carolin, don't be so selfish. And I said, I'm not selfish. I'm trying to sort of save the world and speak, and but he's like, no, you're all about yourself. Me, my anxiety, my, the way I look, my speech, my accent, my this, my that. He's like, you're so self-centered right now. Stop it. It's about the people. How can you help just one person in that audience? How can you, forget that and make it about them and not about you? And I'm like, oh yeah, you're so right. I am really selfish with all that stuff.
Isn't it interesting to see that perspective, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't think of it that way, but it's like, oh yeah, wait a minute. Nobody cares if my hair isn't perfect, or, they just want the information. That's it.
Totally. Yeah. This is so good. Let us know what we can do to connect with you. Are you writing new books? You already have books, courses. We already talked about a course, but give us some of your goodness, your things that are out there, and how we can connect with you more.
Sure. Yeah. Well, if you go to paularizzo.com/checklist, I have a checklist to become a go-to media expert, of course. And, my 2 books, Listful Thinking and Listful Living, are out there in the world, wherever you can get books. I'm working on a novel right now, but it won't be ready for some time. But I'm really excited about that. And I'm actually doing a masterclass on how to create your own live stream show. Because I started my own a few months ago. It's called Inside Scoop, and I do it every week. And I love it. It's so fun to be able to connect with people and do live video, which, my background as a TV producer is something that I absolutely love to do. But I know that a lot of people are intimidated by live streams and going live and creating things and what will I talk about and who will I interview and all of that. It's a little different than podcasts because you're seen, you're on camera, you have to perform the entire time. So I put together this masterclass. If you go to paularizzo.com/go live, you'll be able to check out some information about that. Because I'm just excited for more people to go live and for more people to be out there spreading their expertise. I mean, people need to know what you know. Don't hide it from the world. No. It's one of those things where it's like, how dare you keep it to yourself? You could change someone's life.
Yeah, it's your obligation. I say that a lot also in sales, like closing on a sales call. It's your obligation to close, because if you don't do it, you can't help anyone. You can't help anyone. So amazing. So your website /checklist, and then paularizzo.com/go live, right? We'll put those links below in the description. Amazing resources. Paula, you're full of value. That's awesome. So with that, I want to be respectful of your time. Thank you guys for watching us. Check out all the resources below. Go connect with Paula. Buy her books. Highly recommend her. As you can tell, she is awesome. And Paula, thank you so much for being here. And now I would love to hear from you. Give us some comments below. Let Paula and I know how you like this episode. how we've been able to shift your mind in terms of your visibility, your video, and your media strategy, and what you're going to do to take action and get the attention of the media for your business. We would love to hear from you. As always, stay focused on your goals, because I believe that your message is out there to make a difference and needs to be heard and seen by a whole lot more people. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Do you often feel stressed and overwhelmed from growing your business? Do you crave more ease and happiness from your success? What if I gave you a tool that has the power to instantly make you feel focused, peaceful, and at ease, all while growing your business faster than ever before? I've created the Business Growth Scorecard that has helped countless businesswomen replace overwhelm with confidence, and now the scorecard is available online. It's free, takes less than 10 minutes, and provides you with a customized growth plan, including your personal scores. Go to businessgrowthscorecard.com to take the test right now. I look forward to helping you grow your business with ease and excellence.